Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad. For your safety, we do ask you to remain seated at all times with your arms, hands, legs, and feet inside the train. We also ask you to travel with smaller passengers, please place to the left or inside, away from the opening on the right, and for the courtesy of the guests around you, please no eating, drinking, or smoking at any time while you're aboard. We haven't cleared for board motion, folks, so please sit back, relax. We are all aboard.
Howdy, folks. If you're just joining us, welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad. We're headed for Fantasyland and to Main Street, USA. Everybody stay seated. Keep your hands and arms, feet and legs safely inside the train. And as always, keep an eye on your little ones.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
As we head into the American wilderness, we'll pass by the dusty desert town of Tumbleweed. And keep your eyes peeled for the runaway mine trains of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Runaway trains. Now I ask you, is that any way to run a railroad? I feel right at home here in the prairies and forests of the American wilderness. These roads haven't changed much since the days when settlers started heading west. Nowadays, the rails can carry us safely through the wild, and a trip that used to take months can now be made in just a few weeks. There's plenty of deer, antelope, and elk that feed along the banks of the river. And naturally, plenty of early settlers decided to put down stakes and live here too. Of course, those early settlers weren't the first to make their home in this wild frontier. These native tribes of Plains Indians were living, hunting, and trading for centuries before we ever came along. They were the first to tame the wild horses of the American plains, long before our big old iron horses started chugging through these parts. We're almost out of the woods, folks. We're coming up on the most magical of lands, Fantasyland, a place where any dream can come true. Fly over London with Peter Pan. Set sail on It's a Small World. Take a trip under the sea with the Little Mermaid. Be our guest at an enchanted feast in the Beast's Castle. Or journey into the Seven Dwarfs Mine, where 1,000,000 diamonds shine. Whether you're a pixie, a princess, or just an everyday dreamer, there's always something special about Fantasyland.
Just touch it. Cool. Just touch. Just a button.
If you've been riding trains as long as this old timer, you may remember the days when the circus would come to town on the local railway. Well, the circus is here, and it's set up permanent headquarters as the Fantasyland Storybook Circus. This is the place to fly high with Dumbo, or join Goofy on the Barnstormer, a rollicking ride of circus acrobatics and coaster thrills. This station is also your gateway to the rest of Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. Now, please wait until the train has come to a complete stop. Gather your belongings and carry your strollers away from the platform before you start unfolding them. That way we can start loading up for the next leg of our trip. For those of you disembarking, please watch your step. And thanks for traveling with us on the Walt Disney World Railroad. Join us again real soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be pulling into the Fantasyland station. For your safety, we do ask you to remain seated. Please remain completely seated until the train comes to a stop and you hear me say the words, all clear. Once again, folks, please continue to remain seated the whole time we are pulling into the station.
That's right. Listen. When we get off the train, okay? Come on, we're gonna go see if we can
seated, folks. And we are all clear, folks. Welcome to Fantasyland Station. This is your stop for all of Fantasyland and Tomorrowland.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Walt Disney World Railroad is now boarding a scenic trip around the Magic Kingdom. It stops at Main Street Station and Frontierland. Everybody board carefully. All days. Service to the bedtime show. You'll have plenty of time to tour the Magic Kingdom's half-day big show.
Alright guys, we're gonna be heading out to Main Street, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad. For your safety, we do ask you remain seated at all times with your arms, hands, legs, and feet completely inside the train. We also ask you to travel with smaller passengers, please place them to the left or inside. Wait for that opening to your right. And for the courteous to guests around you, please no eating, drinking, or smoking at any time while you're aboard. We haven't cleared for forward motion, everyone, so please sit back, relax. We are all aboard. Next stop will be Main Street, USA.
It looks like we're ready to embark on the next leg of our journey. Our destination is Main Street, USA. Now, everyone stay seated and keep your hands and arms, feet and legs inside the train at all times. And please keep an eye on your children.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
There are some who say that this steam train is a little old-fashioned, but for me, it's the only way to travel. Of course, there are those who prefer to hit the highway, and on the right, you just might spot some pint-sized drivers taking their first spin behind the wheel of a car. Getting from place to place is a big deal in Tomorrowland, where you might board a people mover, zip around on the Astro Orbiter, or book a flight across the galaxy at our busy starport in Space Mountain. Tomorrowland is truly a world on the move. Speaking of moving, it seems like a whole lot of new neighbors have been migrating in from all corners of the Milky Way. There's that rascally Experiment 626, better known as Stitch, always up to his usual antics. Buzz Lightyear is scouting for a few good space rangers. Even the monsters of Monstropolis have taken a shy to Tomorrowland. I hear those monsters are pretty funny. They're sure funny looking. Yep, the future is here today at the Magic Kingdom. And the future looks like a lot of fun. But after working on the railroad all the livelong day, it's nice to come home to good old Main Street, USA. Inspired by the small-town dreams of a young Walt Disney, a walk down Main Street is like stepping back into the early years of the 20th century. Of course, ours is a Main Street of the imagination, and we've got our own hometown hero, Mickey Mouse. Mickey and his friends have gathered at the Town Square Theater, and they're always happy to meet their fans. We've made a complete trip around the Magic Kingdom. For those of you who've been on board for the whole journey, thanks for putting up with me these past few days. If you're staying with us, we'll be headed for Frontierland next. Right now, please stay seated until our train comes to a complete stop. Then pick up your belongings and carefully step off the train. If you have strollers to unfold, please take them all the way beyond the platform so we can safely board passengers for the next leg of our journey. This is Main Street Station, Main Street, USA.
As we're pulling into the station, folks, we do ask you to remain seated until the train comes to a complete stop, and you hear me say the magical words, all clear. Once again, folks, please remain seated as we're pulling into the station. Please remain seated, everyone. And we are all clear, folks. Welcome to Main Street, USA.